Hello everyone. Hi. Now we're live. Maybe see if we can shovel a bit forward, and you'll be in the camera. Yes. Hello. That's it. Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. So cool. Everyone, welcome. And anyone joining online, feel free to put in your questions and comments here. We'll try and have a look at it as we go. I'll just come here. What's the link? It's on the page. It's on the page. If you're inside the page already, then yeah, you'll be able to. Facebook page. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we really need that TV screen, don't we?
Oh yeah, we can use a TV plugged into the computer next. Yeah, but we can just do some funny circles. We're gonna do some funny circles because today's class it'll be an interesting class. We'll be talking about exactly that logo.
Oh, nice.
Yes, and the importance of you see the three colors or the three rings. I think that's got many meanings as well. Many meanings to that. I think we should give us a chance to look at it as well. So if you look at our not very good at circular things, but okay, just roughly speaking. So we see in the logo, this is the cyan color. It's not quite green or quite blue. It's more like what is like a cyan sort of color. Because in Chinese, that's the color is called cyan. It's more before the things turn green. So that's the sprouts, like when it's at the not quite greeny color. So
Did the Chinese invent that color?
Oh no! No, it's just what they observe in nature. Just what they tend to mimic the things that happens in nature. So we then have this middle layer is the red color. The red one is the one in the middle, and this one in Chinese is red like that. And then obviously in the middle is the white. So that's the word for white. What does this really mean to us? It's got many meanings, obviously. We say we are in the white period. So if you use a circular picture, this is what it looks like. But if you stretch it out on the timeline, so you can have the cyan period, the red period, and then the rest is white. So that's what we say, the timing. We say in this world or this civilized period we have in humanity, everything works in timing, and the Buddhists have told us that we can classify them as three main periods. The three main periods. So if we look at this from like an evolutionary type of lineage, we can actually trace our roots back to the origin. So if we also in the temple have the chart on the wall that also goes into more detail of each period and which patriarch holds the duty of propagating the Tao. So we can imagine ourselves in this white period where Sizun and Simu is, I guess, more to the start of this white period. So about here. Yes. So we are looking at Sizun and Simu start to propagate the Tao is around here. So we are starting the white period. So the time, there's still a lot of time in terms of years, but whether those years will have humans is a different story. So we say the white
period has 10,800 years. The red period lasted for about 3,000 years. The Cyan period was about 1,500 years at the start. So these are the years that also goes according to a lot of the world's events. So if we were looking at this period, this is around 4,500 years of human civilization. So it matches to the time where in the Cyan period, like a lot of the calamities or the conflicts, the disasters are involving water. So that's why a lot of those disasters, they are like the floods. Yeah, a lot of them, as if you know Noah's Ark, that's the period in the same time frame. And in Chinese history as well, there's lots of stories about Emperor Yu, who did a lot of remedial works to divert the river stream, to reorganize the flow of river so that the water is collected properly, not overflowing onto where people live. So that was the period. And then the red period. So the red period is mainly, as you know, the red color mainly involves a lot of warfare, a lot of fire destruction. So that's the a lot of the disasters often involved with the bloodshed. So now we are in the white era. So this is white being white color, meaning there's no fixed shape or form of the method of attack. So that's why it's about the nuclear, invisible type of damage. So that's why
we think damage is coming, not peace.
No, we say that's what I want to put this as a basis,
maybe
and then
the
we can
iceberg melt.
well, we can understand why there's disasters. Like I think I want to try to give us and also the audience a better picture of why do we need the temple or why do we need to cultivate? Because we have to fit into the time cycle of the civilization, or in the sense that we are part of society, we're not hermiting away. So we want to know what we can do to help save lives in times of these disasters or periods of unrest. So we want to look at the history as one big piece, one timeline, one concerted effort, and then we will be able to understand our position in time. So that's why, as we mentioned, we are at the start of the white era, but as we know, the conflicts, like it's also happens very, very quick. And we say, in total, there's 81, this one is 9, there's 18 major catastrophes. And if we know our three treasures, remember how we hold the hand gesture? In this hand gesture, it also contains the 81 notes. 81 notes. So if we look back at 9, at the Cyan period, that's because at the past, those who know the heaven's message, their hand gesture is like the single palm. The single palm meaning that, like in a lot of the shrines or things, they have this carried over, but it's actually the Cyan period's hand seal. So the notes is because of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sorry, I missed that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I think the camera can see better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's where there's 9 major catastrophe or calamities. So including, say, the floods that led to Noah building the ark, including the floods that wiped out probably a lot of the Yangtze River Delta. So a lot of the disasters is back to the water related, because water, what the Buddha and the Sutra says, is attracted because of the greed. So, for example, the water can flush away everything, washes and takes away swiftly all the things you think you can gather, you can accumulate. So that's what the heavens say. The calamities is always not like nature, like treating people bad. It's always what people attract these affinities by their thoughts. I will post it on. I said I posted last week. I'll post the video definitely. And I mentioned, I think last week as well, to Bridget and a few other friends about the frequency or the moving effect, the harmonic effect. Harmonic effect. Yeah. So when you see the videos, you'll see that there's lots of experiments that done that where you put like stacks of like a swinging pendulum things. Yeah. You can have an array, like maybe you can have like say 10 by 10 array. As soon as you start moving one when it's swinging, and you move the other one, and you move the other one, and you move everything, even you start off at a different timing, it has frequency, but
it will come together.
Eventually, it swings in the same motion, pattern, timing sequence. So that is the proof that this world works in a harmonic frequency, and one can affect the other. Even we can't see the physical contact, but we can see there's a connection. So just like us, all of us, why are we sitting here tonight on a Monday night? It's all because we have this good vibration energy that attracts us at the same time, at the same place. So this is why the Buddhists have told us the people that attracts those disasters is because most likely in those collective area, those people have those sense of negative aspects. So that's what accumulates those energy more and more to a time that there's the nature just have to respond because it's the balance, the equilibrium of the force. So if you look at say China as a whole, there's so many disasters there. So it probably says that the people's mind over there is more troubled or less stable. So we're quite fortunate, I guess, if you look at it this way, that we still have this knowledge left behind for us. So hopefully we can tell more and more people that disasters or natural catastrophe is not about nature.
The Chinese are a bit greedy.
I think
we are
well, even I need to cure about my greed. So I think you're right.
You're greedy too, but it depends on.
I've met a lot of good, but when it comes to money, they want every little cent.
So obviously we don't want to go into stereotypes, but I think a lot of people might have heard the jokes like don't make business with Chinese, with Jews, and with some Indian kind of population. But that's okay. That's okay.
But I think
it's
when we talk, it's true. I mean everyone, not just.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you so much, Sue.
Sorry.
I forgot the brew as well. We're brewing tea, so you can make yourself a cup of tea as well if you're nearby a kettle.
Tea, smell?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's like.
Water, maybe water.
No.
Yeah. So that's say like we don't do stereotype or generalizing too much. We just like we don't. Everyone's individual.
Don't mean to stereotype. Just
it's
fine.
Yeah, but it's just like a joke. Take it like a joke. Like people say, don't deal with Chinese, don't deal with Jewish people, don't deal with.
No, actually, they're just talking about it.
Yeah.
Anyone mention Indians?
That's alright. That's why we still have Indian friends now. So on the viewing channel. So hopefully we're just trying to use that as a joke at the start. But we say that disasters or troubles, I think that affects the well-being of people. It's not a nature biting us in the back. It's not nature punishing us. It's never like that. It's always humans attract these things. Such as, for example,
how do you know if they're asking questions?
I will go and check yeah, every so, but yeah, just you reiterate one of the points here. So I think, for example, we know about our pollution problems, like what we emit from
You should log in and you can see.
Yeah, maybe you can check as well if you're on there too. So yeah, but yeah, anyway, you can view that and
Reach.
yeah. So we say, like, say our pollution problems, so what we emit from the factories and from the wastes and all
Could
these.
be anything because these days pollution, everything like
Yep, from the cars, from burning a lot of things like our forests that is bushfire. All these is ultimately affecting the weather patterns, such as those like the ocean water is warming up because of a lot more particles being burned and emitted into the atmosphere. So that's why we get more and more cyclones and more dangerous cyclones. So and I think people with the scientific data can definitely trace back to the human activity and trace back to a lot of the answers. That is not a not the Buddhist is punishing people, or not the heavens are not merciful. Hi, hello, we have a new friend. Hello, welcome.
Hello,
Hello, come and take a seat and say hi to everyone on the on the internet. Yeah.
No, I can't find it.
Oh. Okay, well, maybe Nicole can.
That was my birthday.
Your birthday today.
It's coming up soon. Coming up very soon, in 2 weeks.
You know when it is.
Of course, yes.
If you want some cookies,
Thank you.
no?
Oh, that's amazing.
I
Yeah.
just think
yeah.
you would like it, I think.
Oh, at the end, yeah.
Stranger.
Yeah. Oh, Daniel's looking. It's good. Anyone posting any questions, you can give us a yell, and yeah, hopefully Bridget's also watching as well, and yeah. So,
This might be last week.
oh, okay. Okay, it should be live now, I think. Yeah. But anyway, we'll go back to this side of the story. So
Want some tea?
yeah, make yourself home, make yourself comfy. So we're saying about that this hand gesture, like the single hand, is the 9 notes with the 9 disasters, and Daniel was right.
2.
Yep, you're very spot on. The 9 plus 9 is 18. So that's why a lot of the Buddhist, like we can see the hands, the palms together as the symbol of those times. And only after the time has finished, then the people learn of that, the gesture. So now, of course, our hand gesture for us is a heavenly secret. We don't tell everyone that. But
So like the second one is 2 palms together.
Together.
It's the second period.
yes, the red period is like the 9 plus 9, so 18.
Put the palm together.
Yes, yeah, 18. So at the start, they say, the Buddhists use the analogy like a seed. If you look at like a grain of rice or something, it looks similar to like a seed type of thing. And then remember I'll put this on here, and then remember the palm together. Sometimes it looks like it's like a, what they call like a
Seed point.
Lotus.
lotus flower ready to blossom. Yeah, so and obviously, yeah, now that we have our hand seal, our hand gesture, it's like the actual lotus flower being blossomed already. So just to say that if you look at before, the 9 plus the 9 is 18, but see how we cross our hand over? See how it's wrapping together? It's 9 times 9.
70, 81.
81. That's it. That's it. So unfortunately, that the number of major catastrophes or major disasters will add up to about 81 in
That's
this
coming in this era.
coming. Yes.
In our lifetime.
Hopefully not in our lifetime, but we cannot say. So what we think is that
Maybe I gone first. Once see it happen.
well, we just
You done there might be.
yeah.
You can see.
We just say
I could be gone.
No, we can only say that the Buddhists already mercifully tell us Tao and the disasters is like the 2 sides of your hand. They are together. when we can propagate Tao, it's because there's a need, which is because there's catastrophe or suffering. So if we use that as a reference point, then if we see lots and lots of disasters every day, then we in theory should also see lots and lots of people rushing to come to learn about the Tao to save their life. So until we see those type of environments, then we can still say we're a bit fortunate to have a bit of time. We can buy ourselves a little bit of time to keep putting the good efforts, to keep doing the good cultivation work. So yeah, hopefully we not have to see it in our lifetime, but most likely in the next 3 to 4 generations, we'll definitely see some major changes because
a lot change.
yeah, even the scientists have proved in a few theories, they say by 2040 that our planet would already heat up by more than 2 degrees on average.
Some might be go to Mars already.
Well, we don't know if we can go to Mars as
No, we want, but the next, I think, from us, Nico nephew.
Oh yes, yeah, Lucas may be going to Mars.
Nico nephew. They might be go to Mars.
Yeah. So probably Lucas will be our first astronaut from Australia.
Why
so.
would you bother?
Yeah.
They might eat colours up there.
Well, the answer is they don't necessarily want to go to Mars. No one wants to go to Mars. But it's a stepping stone to other galaxies.
Mm.
Yeah, they take a stop.
Yes. Very true.
And then go on
No
and
one
go.
wants to live on Mars. There's only one colour.
Oh yeah, true.
If you're a girl, you like red. Yeah, the stereotype is.
Or pink, maybe pink. So the pink planet. So yeah, well, we just say, yes, Igor was right. If we can get to Mars, then in theory we can get to other places as well in the universe or in the galaxy at least. So hopefully we don't need to.
But what I heard that the Earth is the best place to live, isn't it? And we should make it good.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I think
Why
we-
just spend more money to go to whatever?
Yeah.
Quite a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly. So in the same sense, the number of dollars spent in the
Quite a lot.
the defense system.
Yeah, we
It's
should
already
develop on Earth to make it better.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so in theory, you're perfectly on the dollar there. I think there's no need for us to have an army in this modern time.
Yeah.
If we look at how we structure our survival as a human race, in theory, we don't need to have an army. We don't need to worry about like aliens, or we don't need to worry about like astro attack. So we just say, with all the money that is spent in developing the weapons, we could have made everyone in this world living in a long and happy, comfortable way already. But obviously, this is a place we have to learn, and until we can all learn our lesson, there's still that's right. Yeah, there's still people.
But some country they don't want to share.
Yeah. So those particular people who met in Vietnam last week, so those two, they are having a bittersweet moment. But obviously they spend. Follow the news and just see what happens at Hanoi. Kim Jong Un and Donald.
And Donald Trump. Yeah, they're actually talking. I thought they were getting on, or not really.
Oh, it's too much politics. I don't know the details here. But we just say like it is a collective thing. For example, we have our leaders, or each country have their own leaders. It's because those people of the country exhibits a certain characteristics or generating a certain energy state. So back to remember we said the harmonic theory. So if a country have lots of heartwarming, compassionate citizens, most likely they will be able to elect a leader who's also compassionate, heartwarming person to bring peace and happiness to more people. But unfortunately, that a lot of us, in the human sense, we only look at what's on our plate. We don't look at what's on other people's plate. So that's why the business look at their own balance sheet. They need to increase.
There's a lot of good, happy people in Nepal, but
Mm.
the government system is a little bit all over the place.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so we know that the disasters.
Like India.
Yeah, it's too complicated at some level, but we just say generally the disasters is all attracted by individuals collectively. So that's why we need to understand this timing so that we know how we position ourselves to reverse the negative effects as much as we can. But we try our best to use the temple and the teachings here to wake everyone's own conscience. So everyone already knows what's good or bad in our heart already. We just don't listen to our conscience. We just take a blind eye. So that's why a lot of the things still didn't get as good as
Locked up.
yeah.
No, I think you see, like we talk about like the last period, but there was some we talk about the country. But what Kenneth mentioned, the population, the each country, like the leader, you know, like for example, like in Australia, as the leader or more kindness or the system, there will be the Australian people will living in a good
Yes.
condition.
Yes.
And when you have a good condition, everything balanced,
Yes.
and people don't need to, you know, like everyone is quite more equal,
Yes.
like get benefit the same.
Yes.
So I mean, there's no thinking that oh you better than me or you know
Yeah.
just basic like education,
Yes.
living standard, something like that.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So at least on the good
Yeah,
point,
like you can
what
see
we-
like the example, the how to system like some country in European like Sweden, you know, like Switzerland.
Yeah.
Some country they I think they have a good system
Yeah.
and control and development.
So we're still fortunate enough, but I think Australia as our own country, well, we still have things we can improve on. It's still good, but we can still improve on a bit because at the moment we look at our as a country level, our consumption rate of animal protein and alcohol is still quite high on the per capita. Yeah, sorry, thank you. Sorry about that. Yeah, we just say on a national per capita, like thank you. Yeah, unfortunately our consumption rate of animal protein and alcohol is still considered quite high.
Quite a lot, you know, in the country. Quite a lot.
So that's why we still have our bushfires. We still also have our floods. So these are actually quite interconnected. So obviously we feel the pain that the farmers are feeling as well when they have lost everything. But we just understand the underneath why it happened, because we know the more cattle that is suffering, the more energy, the hatred energy, or the more suffering energy that is brewing in our country. So this ultimately is like that harmonic frequency theory again. It's attracting the instability in the weather pattern. So everything is actually quite logical. We just need to look for everything. Yeah. So that's why if we can try and promote as much as we can that not to say completely stop the meat consumption today, but we can help those people understand the logic so they can willingly change and improve on that. That will be a better way. So that hopefully we can understand. So what we want to understand as well from this timeline is because if we look at the Cyan period we said before is due to the one with G, the word with G, G-R-E-E-D. So greed. Yeah, greed. The D ends with D, not a K, not the Greek, not the Greek. So the red area is the fire, which is hatred. So there's a lot of warfare and lots of things that is often fueled by hatred. So the negative side effect is what people think they are patriotic, they think they are doing the right thing for their country, but most likely, if you look at the historical accounts of major battles, it's actually a very, very meaningless thing. For example, a country might attack another country's cities, but soon after, the country will talk for some treaties and make up some other arrangements. So the people who died in that battle probably died in a very meaningless way. So, and then sometimes, for example, you might attack a country or you might attack the city, and then they attack you and you even end up losing more than you started with. So at the end, the red period is the time where lots of people have the anger or the hatred or the unsettled, uncalm, and untranquil mindset. That stirs up a lot of these conflicts. So that's the pattern we observe. So we're not making any of these up. It's all in statistics, in historical accounts. So you can sort of understand where we're heading, because we're now at the white era. As we mentioned before, that the white color is like a formless thing. Like you don't see anything in nature that resembles like white, except except our screen, the phone screen, the white light. So the screen produces all types of light, including white light. So we say nowadays we can see more and more people staring at our screens, myself included, due to work.
Today, usually I went to see doctor today. You know, the clinic usually waiting, people waiting. These days, they have a book. They read a book, newspaper. They all, I can see their mobile phone.
Oh yes, all on the phone. And
mobile phone.
Yeah, but with people staring at the screen, what happens is we disconnect from each other. We lose the skills to put ourselves in other people's shoes. We lose the ability to express our feelings, and that's when messages gets misunderstood, and that's when more and more trouble starts. And the ultimate disaster will be what we say the nuclear disaster. So it is because of the air or the radioactive particles sweeping across, which is colorless, but it is deadly. So we just say all of this is already foretold by the Buddhists, and so they know that science is good in certain way, but it's also very deadly in many ways. So in the end, if you look at
use it correctly.
That's right, yeah, that's right. And the people who can use it correctly are the ones who can understand nature as one whole thing, not just as chunks of things. So yeah, if we can tell more and more people about nature as one thing, why we say I-Kuan Tao, one thing, then hopefully there's more and more people who can come to understand that science is not the answer to everything. It can help us with convenience, with a lot of the utilities, but it can't solve the problems we as humans can generate from in our mind, in our thoughts. So that's why we still need, I guess, a time and place for us to meditate and be tranquil and learn about these good things that we can share with more and more people who want to hear about these things. So
if you do that regularly, you become really good. People will see the energy flowing off you.
That's it, yeah. You become like the vibration theory. If you vibrate big enough or loud enough, I guess you can make yourself heard. You can attract more and more frequency at the same level.
Good, yeah.
Yes, so it's only a matter of fact. It's not limited to say I-Kuan Tao or any mainstream religion. It's everyone have the ability to influence other people through their own thoughts, because not only our physical strength is powerful, but the power of the mind, the power of our thoughts, it's actually very, very, very powerful. Yeah, and magnified it by time, or multiply it through time, you can actually achieve great things. So I think that's the importance of using the right way in a consistent pattern. So that's why we have to keep try our best to come to see each other every so often, and then hear everyone's thoughts and share to more and more people.
How's your cup?
Oh,
Is it-
it's half,
is it-
half full.
It's half full. Ah,
full.
so this guy.
Yes.
So, you know, the white, it could be another ice age.
Oh, definitely at the end, yes. We can say, we were saying the, last week before, last week at the Gold Coast Temple, I think Auntie, we were sharing with the Gold Coast Temple. We also have 2 Hungarian friends. So we're sharing with them that about this magical number. This is the number in between Ice Age. So if you think of all the civilizations that we know, all the advancement humans have created, it all happened within this time frame. And if you think of the clock, as the 12 o'clock, we are roughly around here. If you minus the numbers, we are roughly 60,000 years into our current shape and form. And in theory, this ice age still have 60,000 years left, but whether we are there to the end as a civilization is a different story. There will still be like fragments of people that can last for the next after the next ice age, like into the next cycle. Yeah, but we know those people who are left behind here for the next cycle is because maybe their cultivation is not advanced enough for us to meet the Tao, to return to the refuge of the Buddhas first. Like we say, we go back to heaven. That's where we come from, so that we don't have to be affected by the inhabitable conditions of the earth. And until the next ice age, then it will be a different story again, whether we choose to come back to keep learning.
But you see, like talk about this one, like the enlightenment teacher of Buddha. It could be like many cycle already, isn't it?
Yeah.
And what we mentioned about in this period, we are fortunate we are already received Tao.
Yes.
Then in the many period, the Buddha might be already turn and until we discover that to receive Tao it will be so salvation human to receive Tao and get back to original home.
Yeah. So everything Buddha do is to make our spirit be able to go home. So that's the ultimate goal, because no matter how well we look after this place, everything works in a cyclic timing. So it will eventually, like the sun will set definitely. So no matter how many how many developments we do in this planet, it will still not overpower the force of nature. So a lot of the scientific research can already prove.
Sun supposedly will go supernova one day.
Oh yeah. Even the sun,
White dwarf, whatever you want to call
yeah, white dwarfs. Yeah. So obviously the Earth will have a long time still, but we're saying as human activity-wise, we're in a very small slice of time compared to the universe. And some of these, like astrological things or universal knowledge, even science is trying to catch up. But even the Buddha said it is such a big concept, a very huge amount of knowledge that even science cannot explain certain aspects, because if we look at remember we have the 3 circles, and we say we have the Wu Ji, we have the Tai Chi, and this is the Huang Ji, means like the material form. So science can only reach the Tai Chi level. So remember the binary 101010? That essentially is yin yang, the Tai Chi level. But it can't go to the ultimate level, the Wu Ji level, because that's the formless state. And science is built on the form dimension. Yes. So that's the limitation of science. But we can do a lot with science already, like we mentioned before. Like we have the convenience of the energy, we have the convenience of the sanitation. We have a lot of things that science can benefit us in a day-to-day thing. But it comes to a certain tipping point that we can't really use it for everything. So, and that's when people without this knowledge, without this, I guess, earthly knowledge, they will take science or take humanity to a very uncertain status. And we don't want to see that happening because that means a lot of people's lives will be suffering. So that's the real reality is that, yeah. So obviously a lot of people, they support the idea of being like a vegan, they try to look after the environment, but we need to know a lot of the problems also start from the heart, also start from the thoughts. So if you are vegan but you don't have this compassion, you end up maybe as some activist who like harass those suffering farmers, or you end up as someone who cause more and more danger for themselves and others by strapping them in the abattoirs or things like that. We just say it as an example. But if we understand the wide period, this is the time that we see more and more people suffering from like a mental distress or a lot of these physical ailments or physical conditions that it is not heard of in the past two eras, in the past two periods. So in the past, no one would have known about depression. No one would have actually realized that people's behaviors
Would have been there.
changing.
They just didn't classify it.
Well, yeah, I guess on statistically, it may not be as highly recognized, or there's not enough people who get to that level for it to be recognized. But I guess now in this period, we try to understand that there's a lot of the mental stress or a lot of the psychiatric issues is caused from within. So the only way is to solve it from within. So there's no external way that we can take away people's depression straight away. It's all from their own thing. Just like I guess in using the analogy of anorexia, if someone is anorexic, you can't shove food down their throat. They have to be the one who make a change by changing bit by bit their intake, and that's the only way they can rebuild their own strength. So similar with our modern world, there's lots of pressure, of course. There are lots of challenges and lots of like urgency to push us to perform and push us to do that, do this, and then often we will fall into the trap of our own pressure. So if we can understand the bigger picture and understand how we can fit into this bigger picture, there may be a better chance for us not to get caught up in these kind of dilemmas. So that's why we come to the temple by contributing to the temple, like Auntie Simone and Sifu, and I guess everyone here. You guys are so amazing. By you contributing, you are doing a lot of. Well, I'm just doing a very tiny portion that I think I can do, and then by helping out at everything we can, not only in temple, but I guess in the society and at our homes, we are already doing things for others to a point we forgot about our own suffering. So, our master always used the example, like our Grand Senior Master Chang always is a role model. He cares about people to a point he forgets about his own issues. And quite often, we just say quite often, Buddhas are very merciful. If we can help do things for Buddhas, Buddhas most likely can help us do our own things, certain things. So on that general note, yeah, we just can have the confidence that we are. Obviously, we don't abandon our own responsibilities. If I don't go to work, I don't get fed. But I'm saying that if I do my work and do it well, then I can use some spare time I have to do things for others. Then that will make everything better as a general rule of thumb. Yeah, so it's got to be true, and it's just about more and more people to, I guess, understand it and prove it themselves, and that's where the proof will be. Otherwise, everything stays on the theory. It doesn't work. Same with like what we share. Like the words is worthless. It's the actions that counts. So all of the things, it's not what we say, but it's what we do. So obviously, I have a long way to do better because I don't do enough. So that's where we try to help each other out, and not to say point out, say, oh, you haven't done enough. It's just say, is there anything we can do together so we can do a bit more. Do you have any questions at the moment?
No, I'm good, thanks.
Yeah, because feel free to add anything you like, because a healthy discussion is from debates or opposing views, but we can see the two sides of where we are, and we can slowly come to a common understanding. So, because the truth, the more we talk about it, the more we debate about it and argue about it, the more clearer it will get. So,
I think it's quite simple.
Yeah, that's good. So, Nicole.
Behind your mother.
Oh.
Yes, always them.
Yes.
Good. Job
How
done.
about you? You can't do your mother.
Let me just see if there's any.
All the way up today.
Okay, I don't think there's any questions for us yet, so that's good.
Is there anybody out there?
We know Nicole is.
Hey, go Nicole.
Yeah.
More tea?
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Daniel-san?
We thank you.
Yeah. So hopefully, we can see who else we can invite to temple, or who else we can go and visit to catch up with them. Like, it doesn't have to really be like sounding like so religious type of thing. It's just about caring.
Some people say, "Oh, I have to work," and then the time and.
Most of the people I know just say, you must be crazy.
That's so good. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't know enough people yet, but hopefully we'll try to demonstrate what we know through our interaction.
At the beginning, and then maybe because toward the end, I'm just have problem myself, and then she might be out when I'm not coming. And then she said, "Oh, it's like it's not for me," and then I don't know, it just might be out. So if she have time, she good to understand she more, but she might be worried about trying to convert, but it's not just learning.
That's okay. We say the beauty of Tao is that for the time we see, it will be here whenever we need it. For example, a lot of people come back to this life just to receive the Tao, meaning they already cultivated in their past life, or many of their past life.
And maybe they remember a little bit.
So all their cultivation from their past, I guess same with Daniel-san. He's like a living example. So you must have cultivated already in many different practices. Obviously, have to be. Otherwise, you won't be such a great example that you just come in by yourself and you understand a lot of these things and you put into practice. So that's kudos. So
Understand the basics.
that's all you need. Like receiving the Tao and the three treasures is like the last, like the transfer file. 99% is already done. It's just that 1%. Now you have 100% done file. So I think similar with a lot of the different religious cultivators, they may be already doing very good in their religion. So that hopefully one day they might just reincarnate in a place where they can receive the Tao, and then their mission will be accomplished as well. And then they can move on to the next mission to help the Mila Buddha to conduct the salvation in the wide period.
Does this also transfer to Catholics, Christians?
Oh yes.
Hindus?
Yes, definitely. Obviously, I don't have enough knowledge at this stage to cover quite a few others, but we know so far.
So similar.
Yes, we know so far all these.
What's a Hindu?
So.
Lays eggs.
Can you get that?
And do not forget, it also transfers to aliens. Aliens have souls too.
Yeah, so we know that our what does hens do?
A hen.
Yeah, we know that
Still funny.
New Zealand accent is so good. Yeah, like we know that like in different religion, some elements of the Tao also survived through their many years of teaching, but ultimately. Some religion do better than others at preserving the center point or the original essence about the spiritual conscience. So if you look at the white period now, we can see the Christians in the past red era have actually built up a lot of significance to a point. In the white era, we speak English as a global language. We see Christianity speaks itself in many cultures. So we see the color white in the sense of the wedding. Like the wedding is the place where white is the major symbol, whereas in many red period timing in many cultures, the red was the color for the joy. So the color white is actually everywhere, and the color white in the Chinese the 5 element system also represents the West. So you can definitely relate to the color in many observable, in this world, a lot of the observable characteristics. So yeah, like this is the period where the West power is very important and very powerful. The color white is everywhere, it's very prominent, it's the most easiest color to agree on, or the easiest color to make something out of. So this is all have a reason and all have a very profound meaning. That we are fortunate that the Buddhists already give us that knowledge. We don't need to work our heads to come up with it. We can't come up with it. Human's mind can never come up with enough enough knowledge that fits every piece of the puzzle. So there must have been a greater, like we say the Tao, like a greater force of nature that can manifest itself. And it's only those people who have enough connection with this center point, or we say our heavenly portal, the conscience. Those people who have enough connection can understand, can decipher, or can relate to this natural connection. And those who can do it so well enough, they are the Buddhists, they are the saints, they are like Jesus, and they're like Muhammad the Prophet. So those mainstream religion is all sent from the above to coordinate this big picture. So we are just the ones, I guess, with the responsibility to draw, to connect the dots. Yeah, so at the start they already dotted the whole picture. We just have to come in with a pencil to line up the dots, and then everyone can see the picture. So if we can use whatever resources we have,
Like a collective group of people coming to see the bigger picture and to share.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and that's the importance. So yeah, in the year ahead, like we will all be inviting everyone to share a few things that they learn about Tao, and see if we can, from your background, from your expertise, from your experience, anything that you can relate to the Tao. Like remember last class we talked about analogies. The analogies are everywhere. You use any examples and you can still let the Tao be visible in any example you raise. Yeah.
Yeah, well, when talking about it, I can't get words out.
Oh, that's okay.
Mind is like knows, but
No, that's okay. The only reason we have to reluctantly use words is because not everyone can see our energy vibration or our actions on a day-to-day basis. Say with our audience, they are watching because they are not present here, so they can't see what we do, what we say. So we only have to use words. Same with the Buddhists and Jesus and the saints in the past.
oh, they can't hear.
I think they can, but as in the the metaphor, like they can't.
Just only they can listen, right? But
They should
can?
be able to pick up enough volume.
oh,
But only you.
Oh, the gentleman. Okay, maybe we shuffle a little. Yeah, shuffle a little. So, yeah.
Depends on volume.
Only two is slowly.
Yes.
oh,
So,
It's true.
change like move.
no, that's okay.
So they can
might
see
have seen the board
Nicole
then.
and Jeremy.
That's right, you guys move into the center.
Yeah. Move, yeah. Or
Yeah.
move camera.
Yeah, I think the board should be okay. Yeah, should be okay. I hope. Yeah, we'll keep improve as we go. I think the darkness of the color.
Oh.
Just see you. And just see you guys move to the center.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
And no questions yet.
No.
Oh, okay.
That's all right. Yeah, we'll
Next time I won't sit here. So
Oh, no, please feel free. Yeah, feel free.
Yes, we sit where Jeremy is.
That's
see
all.
what we learn from the Tao. Tao is the truth of the nature, isn't it?
Yes.
Because came from the Buddhism, like temple monk. What I learned is different from it's similar, but Tao you have to receive Tao and just that step and learn what I attend the class and listen master talk about quite a lot of things similar that I read and I learn, but when we talk about Tao, it's the truth. If we keep our life close to the nature, that will be peace, isn't it?
You were a monk.
like we.
He.
But some people,
Yeah.
oh yeah. Someone when I talk
Sister.
about this one, they said, oh you should be in there, become a nun.
Oh, I passed some today.
Oh,
Yeah. Doing 80 Ks in the fast lane. I thought they were Muslims. I look across and they were monks.
oh,
Nuns.
Buddhist nuns.
Yeah.
Oh,
I never see nuns anymore.
oh, yeah.
See
Don't
the nun,
actually-
the nun. Sometimes I thought about also. Sometimes I think, oh, go back to Thailand and become a chef. And become a nun. Maybe good, you know.
Yeah.
Think, no.
Well, okay. Leading back to this table, I've got a point to share. I think like
Sometimes living in this, they're too complicated.
oh, yeah.
Talk to my sister. When are you coming back?
Because the significance of the Wat period, as Master may have talked about it in the class, the Wat period is when every single one in the daily population can receive Tao in the everyday position. As in, the Cyan period is when mainly the leaders of the community, or you can call them kings or emperors, they are the ones who have the ability or have the privilege to learn about the Tao or actually be receiving the heavenly treasures. But the red period is like the monks, the nuns, the priests, those who dedicate themselves to spread the word of God is the ones who can carry on this heavenly message. So now, luckily, the white period is every layman and laywoman, like anyone in society who have the affinity, who have the faith and have the karmic situation that allows them to receive the Tao. So, like we said before, it's hard if a butcher can receive Tao because they carry on their shoulders so much negative energy from the killing they do. So that's the reality. Like it's all very good for everyone to receive Tao in the white era. Yeah, so we're very, very lucky. And it's not done before. Like people thought it's
Yeah, we see our whole family were butchers. Well, meat deliverers.
They stop now, they still doing. Are they still doing?
Yeah, now retired. Yeah.
Oh,
retired. So yeah, so they if they do come to Brisbane, Yeah, we would love to meet them and have a meal together, and then down the track.
Granddad started that business.
Yeah, yeah.
And we all knew how to cut.
Yeah.
These days still happen, a lot of people
Yeah.
which
I was working for 2 butchers today,
Yeah.
Maori
Oh.
guys,
Yes.
really nice people.
Yes. Yeah.
And he says he's 60 years old and he stands there for 12 hours a day hacking up carcasses.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Yes.
amazing.
The Buddhists also said like human beings, like generally we're very nice. Even those harming others, actually in their heart, they're actually nice people. It's just they don't realize some of the actions they do contains a negative consequence. That's all.
So Stalin was a nice person.
What we know is the Buddha nature. It's like the spirit itself. It's the most pure. So like we said, the Wu Ji, the spirit is like the Wu Ji level. Wu Ji is the most pure. And then the Tai Chi, the yin and yang, like our plus and minus thoughts, our nice and not so nice thoughts. That's what
Put the balance off.
Yeah, like that's what takes our center, like takes our focus away or takes our spiritual voice away, and then carries on through to the action, the Huangji, the material state. So that's when Stalin did the killing. Not because of Stalin's spirit, but because of Stalin's...
Can you write that down?
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah. I'll try to write this one here.
So which one's the nice thought, the yin or the yang?
It should be the zero.
Yes.
Yeah, the zero.
the yin or the yang?
Yeah, sorry, the zero as in not the 1 and 0, 1, 0, 0, the point. Like if you look at the point, that is,
point.
yeah, the center point, that's the only nice one. Anything outside of it, anything deviates, all the 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, all these is not
Either way.
That's right, that's right. Only the center point is...
How come it was so difficult to teach you Bagua?
Because I can't rotate on the center.
But it's all 0, 1.
Oh, well, I can't get the center.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm pulling you, Jane.
No,
Now, the arm,
yes.
what was that one called?
Uh,
The center, thoughts, yin yang, then
Huangji. Okay, I'll write it. So Wu Ji, Wu Ji, Wu Ji, and we got Tai Chi, or Tai Chi, Tai.
Have you heard of Wu Ji before?
And this is Huang
everyone said Wu Ji.
First time.
Ji.
I've heard the Wu.
It's like the Big Bang Theory. There was the Wu Ji, then the Big Bang, then there was the yin yang,
Yeah, exactly.
and the millions. Huang.
Huang.
Does that mean yellow G?
Huang. Okay. This character, can you see a resemblance?
white, yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And this character means like king or the one in charge. So this character,
White King.
the white king or the highest king or the most powerful king, which is like our spirit. This body, the most powerful force to govern this body is the spirit. But we say Huangji, like Huang, this goes to mean the highest king or the most physically apparent, the most obvious, the physically obvious one. So
You think somewhere in the line means anything? Why the skin color changed?
like obviously,
Black and yellow and
Yeah.
red.
we just can only
We're all going to be white.
yeah.
The white era.
Yeah, but we just like can speculate some of these scientific theory, but it's not going to say it's always like that. We just know the skin color actually also, like Sifu was saying, like at the end, like white, it's actually getting closer and closer to, with all the color mixing in, will end up become one color, and that one color maybe it's not called white, but in everyone exhibiting the same uniform color That's what white is. White means uniform, like continuity or uniform. And when
black has nothing.
like no, we just say black is also a very important force in different times as well. In different times. So like maybe for example, if we look at 60,000 years ago as the evolution of humankind moved out of Africa, maybe that time was when black color is the most forceful, the most powerful, and as Homo sapiens in the end is the one who ruled the surface of the earth. So that's when the black color may be the most prominent back then. But as time moved on, everything takes turn. Everything takes turn. So there was probably a time when, for example, I guess Genghis Khan was the most ferocious person on the planet. But if we look at the whole thing, everything takes turn. There will be more and more. I guess, but as we know now, it's still the same. White color is most prominent. The European is the most technically most powerful at this moment. So, but if you look at everything takes turn, then it will go back to one big thing, one common thing. And when everyone mixed back together, that color will be white. White as in the uniform consistency, the uniform color. So that's the, I guess, yeah. Obviously, it's still my understanding of science. It's not obviously the ultimate explanation.
Can you translate those into English? Wuji, Tai Chi, and Wuji?
Okay. Remember Wu Wei? Remember Wu Wei?
Oh yeah.
That's the unconditional one. So
I'm going to do that very soon.
So let's imagine the Wu Wei as the Wu Ji, the same Wu, the state of unconditional state. The Tai Chi is the I wouldn't want to use the word bipartisan, but I think that's pretty much what it is. Two sides, bipartisan. Is that okay, Sifu?
Yeah.
Bipartisan.
Never heard of that word. Former life.
Well, I guess if you look at the Liberals and the Labour, we're always in a bipartisan kind of system. Yeah. So that's like the 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. Then Huang Ji is more the myriad state. So yeah, that's as best as I can put it. But obviously, some books may say otherwise. But I think I have got a pretty robust way of putting it. Like it's self-explanatory. Like the myriad state, as in the very colorful, very vibrant, very diverse state.
We would like to have unconditional state.
Of course. That's what we originally come from and looks like and will be. So we are still obviously with the physical body. We have the myriad different appearance, different representation. But obviously we can go back to a bipartisan state, as in we can recollect our thoughts back to the right thinking. And with the right thinking, we go back to the unconditional state, the unconditional state of where we are from. So if people still ask why is human being born, they're still stuck on the Tai Chi level. Only when we can put those differences aside between me, you, him, she, then we can go back to the unconditional one state, or the zero void, or we call it void. Yeah, so I think Tai Chi...
It's a long time coming, I think.
It's okay. So, like, say for example, just using the reference, like say, like Sifu, Grandmaster Wang Fulai, and obviously Great Grandmaster, practicing Tai Chi can also help them reach Wu Ji a lot faster. When they are at the Xingyi, yeah, that's true. Barbara,
We discuss that every week.
Yeah. It's like so you may have seen like Daniel-san. Remember when people punch Great Grandmaster, he doesn't get injuries. So yeah. The reason is his mindset, the focus of the energy is at the unconditional state. When you're at the unconditional state, you are not going to get hurt. Because if you are hurt, that means you may have the unhurt side. Hurt and unhurt. It's the Tai Chi middle level. But because the energy is so condensed or concentrated at the unconditional state, this shell cannot be injured. That's why they punch in, doesn't hurt
And
him.
how can we try to make ourselves to become unconscious?
Oh, very good question. Because we'll try to use every class to focus on a heavenly portal. Like at the end, we can give ourselves 5 minutes, 10 minutes. When we focus on the heavenly portal, bit by bit every day, even before we go to bed or just after when we wake up, so the calmness can definitely prepare us for the unconditional state. Unconditional state doesn't mean we don't do anything, doesn't mean we just sit there and like not do anything. It's when we face a trouble and our reaction, without us even thinking, will be the right reaction. Just like if someone saw someone getting hit by a car, we lift up the car. Like, I mean, I'm not saying it happens on a day-to-day level, but you might have heard of the mother seeing the child get trapped on the car, and the mother can lift up the car. That's the state they are at. It's not when they not do anything. They're obviously lifting the car, but their mind is doing the right thing. Or the spirit is controlling the mind to control their body to do the right thing. And that's when we can prepare ourselves through the three treasures. And that's sometimes if we have a very distressed thought, a very troublesome thought, we can use the 5 words to give us that moment of tranquility or inject this peacefulness in us. Otherwise, it may strangle us to a very distressed state that we might not be able to control ourselves, or the mind, the Tai Chi side, the level of the Tai Chi mind might take over our physical function, Huang Qi. So that's why a lot of people, unfortunately, they do silly things or even take their own lives because their mind overrides their spirit and then overrides their body.
Have to try to, like what you say, is every day you have to focus, isn't it?
Yes.
Go back
Yes.
to our original mind. It's good mind. Isn't it?
Or we can unfocus
Yeah.
and go wu wei.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
No.
All the
Yes.
circular. Yes. Yeah.
It's all mainly going clockwise.
Yes, true, because sometimes our mind, put everything rubbish to your head and then you have to take it out and then,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, we say
Doesn't really matter, does it?
well, we say clockwise has been easier for the mind, the brain, to interpret because clockwise is like a right-hand thing, but we use the left brain to process these kind of logic. So that's why we write from left to right. Yeah. And
But that doesn't Chinese write.
yes.
Left to right, but down.
Chinese write from right to left. Yes.
Oh, back
Yes. Original form is from right to left.
and down, or
That's why their books start at the back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Chinese may have understood that don't become numb to the flow. So you need to counter flow.
Yeah.
So that's my
make your mind work.
say
Keep challenging your mind because you get there's always new neurons building.
well, another theory I think I've understood that part of myself is say for example the ancient Chinese write with the brush pen, and the reason they write from right to left is because most people are right-handed, and we need to be careful of what we write. Like words are very powerful, even deadly. So the Chinese have to force themselves to be very careful with their words, because when they write something and present to emperor, that could have meant, he's a bad guy and he will go to die, and it's just very very unhappy
It's
ending.
confusing language.
Yeah.
I mean, Huang. How many meanings does Huang have?
Oh, we have to ask Nicole.
There can be so many.
Really?
Yeah, it can be so many. But I think this words, like can you say, is you see the king under there, it just usually meaning something that you are in charge or high level if you're using this word. And after the history goes by, usually we represent these words to the king. So like one Shang, like the businessman belongs to the royal family or something.
Sure.
So just related.
So Huang is a good surname.
Well, I think the other Huang, secret, the pronunciation is the other
Same.
Huang.
Oh.
Like this Huang, this is something Nicole is probably better at explaining. Okay, these two characters. So Wang Yi is this Wang,
Yep. Huang.
and Lady Master is Huang, this Huang.
Yep.
So yeah, the surname is So
Is it?
Huang to it
so,
pronounce Huang.
so
Huang Zhou.
Huang.
Good.
Huang.
Huang.
Good.
Okay. Huang.
And this also Huang.
Huang.
But
Yes.
different character.
Yes. Yes.
But
Huang.
in Pinyin it's right the same.
Don't worry about it, Daniel. You'll never get it.
And in Pinyin, this is Wang. Wang.
Ah.
And this is together becomes Huang. So this one and this one, pronunciation is slightly different, but the root is the same. The king element is the same. So yeah. So the like as we always say, Chinese characters have the pictures is the meaning. Pronunciation is only a very geographical, like a dialect. It's a very accent thing.
Sure,
Like your pronunciation is different to the Hong Kong pronunciation. Same way with the Mandarin of the North. They pronounce this is Mandarin, of course, but saying as in different geographic spread have a different pronunciation. So we just use Mandarin as the most popular common system. And
While we're at it,
yes.
standing meditation.
Okay.
Chinese?
站桩
Okay.
right here. 站 and
I read an article on YouTube somewhere. The guy said it's pronounced Zhang with a J. Zhang Zhong.
okay.
Zhang Zhong or something.
Cantonese is 站桩
Zhang
站桩
Zhang.
Yeah, that may have been Canto, I think.
Yeah.
站
Like jam.
Like, what's the lady master called?
Master
Zhong.
Zhong.
Alex simplified it and said it's with a J. Jaw.
Oh, Zhong, yeah.
But it's definitely got a Z in there, hasn't it?
Or
No.
CHO.
CHO, isn't it?
CHO.
I think it's different PA system.
Yeah, just a different pinyin system. Tao
Yeah,
is
Tao
C.
different.
No wonder I can't speak Chinese.
Sorry. Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that.
No, it's good, yeah. So,
So can you English size
okay.
that?
Okay.
Zan.
Maybe you want to try?
No, you go.
Zan.
What do you say?
Zhan.
With a J.
Zhan.
Jan.
Zhan.
Jan.
Zhan.
It's like
Zhan.
Jan, but twisted a
Jan.
bit. Jan.
Zhan.
So it becomes a Z.
Jan. It's the proper. If you put it in a book, they will use ZH instead of J.
Yeah.
So Jan, same Jan, but they will just spell ZH. Yeah.
Okay.
See progress.
I'm trying to say say whatever to Thai, and I can't hear what Thai is saying.
Oh, Thai, yes.
Yeah.
Kai.
Kai, yeah.
Kai. 金荣阿姨的朋友的儿子练太极那位妈妈 ，Yeah， 凯儿子 ，Yeah， 凯泰 ，Yeah，
I spend months obsessing over one little word and I still can't pronounce it. That's why I can't speak Chinese. It's just so hard.
No, it's
Just make it a
confusing.
bit more difficult. We got different spelling systems.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
got different
yeah.
pronunciation.
Japanese, piece of cake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a kind of
Easy.
yeah. It's I think because the like the pronunciation, yeah, like see what you're saying, like the tones depends on.
Oh, look, I don't even get into tones.
Yeah.
I can't even get the first letter.
Toy soy.
Yeah, that's a toy soy.
Yeah. Block of cheese. It's good. It's good. Yeah.
Yeah, my auntie.
my auntie. Yeah.
We're simplifying Chinese.
Yeah. So there you go. Chinese lesson. Find seafood. Yeah. So yeah, if we can use this sort of concept, if if any new friends is interested, then they can understand this and then they can push themselves. Yeah, because that's the difference, I guess, between other like karate, like very rigid type, compared to our Jingyi type. Goes back to Wu Wei, Wu Ji type.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, would you be able to describe how to feel in tomorrow's Xingyi class?
I'll try my best. Yeah, I will
Good.
do the
Good.
meditation with the heavenly portal and 5 minutes.
I do it
Yeah.
automatically. Xingyi is just so relaxing. I don't even breathe heavily. And yet, we can be pounding up and down here,
Yes.
just completely relaxed. You just switch the mind off.
Yeah, it's a very nice. Yeah, it's better than exercise. Yeah.
Get back to the state of a baby.
That's very right. Yeah. So hopefully, we will keep learning together, and then Sifu, anything you can share with all of us, more than welcome. And then with Nicole will take the chalk next time. And then
Go in the phone.
I don't have it next time.
We come and get you. We should live. We'll hijack.
Yeah. So Auntie, thank you again. So hopefully we.
Well, I haven't done it. I just
it's
you
good. Yeah.
have been giving a lot.
Oh no.
Thank you very much.
It's don't look at what I say. Look at what I do, and I'm hopeless at doing things. So we just have to help each other. No. It's always about our actions, not about words. So yeah.
Here
But it's
teaching
like
us.
learning like this. You need to learn by doing. Isn't that you just
I know.
learn by doing?
I know.
Okay, let's all go Wu Wei until next time.
Yes. Thank you. I'll
It's
just
good, you know,
stop this one.
unconditioned.
So thank you everyone. Thank you. I'll just stop this one and then we can have a brief chat.